So this is like a map with the drill result.
I'd like to sell it as a package with all the houses and underground services and just everything.
Frozen land worth millions. And Parker Schnabel staked everything on it, a full $15 million. His dream was to extract 5,000 ounces of gold. But when the season started, things were not easy at all. There were failures at every step, machines stopped, and the team's morale was broken. It seemed that everything was about to end. But then, everything changed. During an excavation, the machine suddenly stopped. As soon as Parker's team got closer, something came out from under the ground, which made everyone's eyes widen. Not only Parker, but the entire team could not believe what they were seeing. Just gold? Maybe not. A close shot just gives a glimpse of a shining object. It could be a vein, an ancient treasure, or something that would change the entire story of the gold rush. There was neither happiness nor fear on Parker's face, just deep silence. Has Parker really found gold worth crores? Or has he uncovered some other big secret? Some people in the team were scared. No one even asked what was found. Because that thing might not only be valuable, but also dangerous. This time, the story is not just about gold. This is something that Parker has never seen before. And maybe you have never seen before. Watch the video, because what has been found this time can change everything. What is the story of Dominion Creek? Dominion Creek. This name sounds like a common place, but for the local miners of Yukon, it means something else. The land here has never disappointed anyone, but it has not completely pleased either. This is a place about which rumors have been flying for years. Some old miners used to say, "There is not only gold here, there is also something buried that no one has understood till date." When Parker Schnabel was first told about this plot, all he knew was that it could be a big risk, but also a big score. The land price was high, the reports were incomplete, and getting government approval was not easy. But Parker is the same person who has made the impossible point possible many times. He got the entire land of Dominion Creek aerial surveyed, took samples himself, and sought expert opinion. But the data was not clear. Still, there was something about the land that drew Parker in. There was a lot of debate among the team. Some thought the $15 million gamble was crazy. One crew member even said, "Parker, if it fails, then not only the money but the show will also sink." But Parker had one thing on his mind. Jo bada karega, wahi bada payega. After negotiations, Parker bought the land, a decision that laid the foundation for this season. Everything started to go wrong. As soon as the excavation began at Dominion Creek, Parker started experiencing setbacks from day one. First, the weather betrayed him. The area that was described as cold but manageable suddenly snowed heavily. Machines started jamming, and the ground turned out to be so hard that the digging machines kept stopping repeatedly. Parker's team thought they would complete the work ahead of schedule, but within a week, the entire timeline started slipping. The excavator got stuck repeatedly. The signals of the ground-penetrating radar were confusing, and the drainage work was incomplete. The biggest pressure on this was money. Parker had invested $15 million on this land alone. Every day's delay was costing him millions, and the gold that he had hoped to find, there was no trace of it. The tension within the team was also increasing. On one hand, the people who trusted Parker were losing patience, and on the other hand, some crew members openly questioned Parker's decision. "Maybe he went too far this time," someone said on the set. Parker's face was rarely seen on camera, but whenever it was seen, The restlessness in his eyes was clearly visible. Day and night he would check the plot data, go through old maps, and himself go down to the ground with the machines. He said softly behind the camera, "If I don't get anything this time, I may never be able to forgive myself." A strange sound, and then everything stopped. Another morning at Dominion Creek. The same routine digging, the same icy wind, and Parker's team was tired. The machines were still not turning up much. Just rocks, mud, and disappointment. Parker himself was on site that day, trying to make a difference. Around 10 a.m., excavator number 3 made a strange crackling sound as it dug a little deeper. The machine operator suddenly panicked. Something was stuck, but it didn't look like a normal blockage. The machine stopped on its own, as if something heavy had blocked its blade. The team members immediately rushed over. Parker himself went closer to the site and started looking. The soil was removed from inside, and then a shiny object appeared. It started shining brightly as the sunlight fell on it. For a moment, everyone went silent. The camera team that was recording at that time also stopped. That's it. The sound of light breathing and the silence of the snow. Parker's face hardened. Someone joked, "Is this an alien thing?" But at that moment, no one had an answer. There was just a glimpse, like something metal, but there were some patterns on it, as if it was engraved. "I've never seen anything like this before." "Logically," Parker said softly. His face was both excited and worried. "Is this gold? Or something else?" The team slowly started cleaning around the strange object. After removing the soil, its entire surface was now visible. First of all, it had a shine on it. It was like gold. But it was also different. It had a light blue and copper shade, and there were intricate designs on its edges, as if someone had done carvings by hand. Parker sat there. He took a closer look at it with his eyes. It wasn't just a shiny rock. There were some symbols on its edges, which looked like an ancient language. This is not a vein. At least, not the vein we have seen before. Parker softly looked at the camera. Just then, a phone call was made. The team immediately called a geology expert to the site. Within a few hours, Dr. Emily Sanders, a renowned geologist, arrived at the site. She put on gloves and took a closer look at the shiny object. There is something unusual in its texture. It does not look like a pure gold vein. There are other minerals in it. And these patterns, she said, can't be natural erosion. Dr. Sanders decided to take a sample. She cut out a small portion of the object with a scientific toolkit and sealed it in a special container. She also began preliminary testing with a portable scanner. The results came in. The object contained 60% gold, 25% unknown alloy, and the rest unidentified elements. But the real shock was the symbols. The ancient symbols appeared to be in some language, but were not immediately recognizable. Emily said, "These could be signs of an ancient civilization, or a marker to reach something else." The team was silent again. Parker stood at a distance, watching everything. There was excitement in his eyes, and a question. Have I found a vein of gold, or a signal of a buried civilization? What are people thinking? The discovery made by Parker Schnabel's team was not just limited to them. As soon as this episode of Gold Rush aired, social media was abuzz. Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, there was only one question everywhere. What has Parker discovered? Some people were convinced that it was just a gold vein, nothing more. But many people started talking about something much more than that. One theory was that Parker had discovered an ancient treasure, which may have been hidden in the soil of Yukon for hundreds of years. One user on Reddit wrote, "There are symbols on it, which means it is not a natural mining vein. Someone has hidden it. Perhaps it was the treasure of an explorer or an old tribe." On the other hand, some indigenous groups also expressed concern. They said that this area could be one of the sacred lands of the First Nations, where digging is not respectful. Many elders said that some old stories related to this place were heard, where there was talk of spirit stones and not gold. Not only this, some historians started digging into old maps. Attention was drawn to an 1898 map in which a small X was made around Dominion Creek, which the surveyor of that time had marked as an unexplored high-value area. But no one ever paid attention to it. Now the question was this a known area even before Parker's discovery? Or had someone deliberately kept this place hidden? Shock after victory. The day Dr. Emily Sanders sent the preliminary report of geological samples, Parker's team, I was feeling a little relieved. According to the report, the object had high gold content, but some of the elements and designs in it were strange. But there came a twist that shook everyone. It was clearly written in one section of the report. This object contains gold, yes, but its surface shows artificial manipulation and symbols not recognized in standard mineral veins. This might not be a natural deposit. That is, it was said in clear words, this is not an ordinary vein. And then, a few hours later, Parker received an official mail and call from the Yukon government. The Department of Minerals and Cultural Heritage asked Parker to stop digging immediately. The reason given was that this object might be the cultural property of an ancient civilization or First Nations, and further investigation would be done at the government level. Parker was shocked. He himself could not understand what he had dug out. He had gone there thinking that he might find a vein worth crores. But what was in front of him now seemed less like a treasure and more like a mystery. There was silence in the team. Someone said softly, "Have we touched something that we should not have touched?" Now Parker and his team could no longer dig or take samples. The government put a security cordon around the site, and what was once a place of hope became an investigation zone. Had Parker discovered real gold? Or a secret that should have stayed buried beneath the soil? These questions were no longer just Parker's. They were the world's. Parker and team morale. The land at Dominion Creek, once a dream, was now a question. Excavations had been halted, government moratoriums had been imposed, and what they had discovered meant treasure to some and a warning to others. The divisions within the team were clear. Some were excited. They believed Parker had touched history. What we have found is not just money. This is the biggest twist of the show, said one crew member. But others were fearful. They said it was not right to disturb what the government called a cultural heritage. We are miners, not treasure hunters. This seems like a much bigger issue, said one senior worker. This was one of the most difficult times for Parker. The man who had always been quick and unabashed in his decisions now sat quietly beside the container. There was fatigue in his eyes, not just physical, but mental and emotional. The risk of $15 million, the expectations of the team, the prestige of the show, everything was on one side. And on the other side was that shiny object, which was both the answer to all his questions and a new confusion. Parker said softly, "I started this to find a vein, but now I seem to have come on another path. A path that leads not to gold, but perhaps to an old story." This statement of his touched some of the team members. They understood that this was no longer just a matter of mining. It had now become a battle for history, culture, and identity. For a short moment, Parker looked towards the excavation site, the place where it all began. Snow was slowly covering that part again, as if nature itself wanted to hide that secret again. There was still a shine in Parker's eyes, tired but not extinguished, because now his dream wasn't just 5,000 ounces of gold. He wanted to know what he had found. A discovery that would change everything, and maybe even Parker. What's next? Everything is at a standstill at Dominion Creek now. Digging has stopped, machines are quiet, and the government has cordoned off the site. Parker Schnabel's team is now just waiting for the verdict that will determine the fate of all their hard work and the future. But the real question is, will Parker be able to dig again? Legal hurdles, cultural sensitivity, and now the media's attention all stand in Parker's way. But you know Parker. He's not one to give up. According to him, if I have discovered something that is connected to history, I will not back down. I want to know what it was, why it was there, and who put it there. There have been many such twists in the history of the Gold Rush show, but the twist that has come to the fore this time is perhaps the biggest ever. This is not just the discovery of gold. It is the beginning of a mystery that has shaken the entire team. Social media and the audience are also divided into two parts. Some people consider this to be Parker's biggest victory, while some think, has he dug up something that should have remained buried? Some viewers have started zooming in on the pictures of the object seen in close-up and comparing the symbols to Templar crosses, native sign language, and even alien glyphs. Now the real suspense is this. Is this a hidden treasure? Or a warning? Or both? And now, the question is to you. What do you think? What has Parker actually discovered? Is this a part of history? Or a secret that perhaps humanity was far away from till now? Be sure to tell your guess in the comments below. This is not just the story of gold. This is the beginning of a hidden secret. And maybe Parker has opened the door to it. And now, the question is not what Parker is digging up. The question is how close we all are to the truth. Like the video, subscribe, and press the bell icon. Because the next time Parker goes back to digging, he may reveal the biggest truth of the entire gold rush. Stay tuned, because the story is not over yet. The truth is yet to come.